screen and me. So that's weird. Not really sure. Yeah, I'm live. Did I just go live on YouTube? I really hope that didn't just happen. All right, well, if you're on YouTube, I apologize. I don't know why exactly. No, it's good. Okay, 3 minutes. All right, just had to double check. All right, cool. Well, anyway, so let's keep it moving. So earnings season remained a mixed bag, setting Walmart set a gloomy tone for retailers by re-announcing a weaker than expected forecast. On the other hand, oil companies announced record profits. Isn't that awesome? We have record profits on high gas prices. Awesome. On the other hand, oil companies, besides announcing record profits, and consumer goods and staples companies saw their earnings dampened by inflation and unfavorable foreign exchange rates. So, kind of a mixed bag last week. Mostly not good. But moving over here to, if you guys are not on YouTube right now, you guys are missing the screen. But moving over to the economic calendar for this week. So we've got August 1st, IHS manufacturing PMI, manufacturing index, construction spending, all coming in around 10 and 9:45 Eastern time. JOLTS on the 2nd. On August 3rd, we have factory orders, IHS Marketing Services, PMI, MBA Mortgage Application Index, factory orders, ISM Manufacturing Index, etc. On the 4th, we've got initial claims, continuing claims, trade balance, non-farm payrolls coming in on the 5th, hourly earnings, unemployment rate, as well as the average work week and consumer credit. All of these data points will obviously be something to take into account moving into the middle of the week when that CBI, or excuse me, the continuing claims and initial claims come in to kind of give us a benchmark of where we're at in the economy. So PLTR looks heat. I'll trust you on that one. Okay, so earnings. Monday, August 1st, we have ATVI pins, DVN car kind of coming in. Yeah, it's not really a super exciting company. AMD, Starbucks, PayPal, Uber, SoFi, Airbnb, Cat, all coming in the next on Tuesday. Wednesday, eBay, Lucid, mRNA. mRNA, by the way, get your notebooks out if you guys are playing long or playing earnings, right? You should write down your earnings. You should. Those are trades too, even if they're gambling. So this week, I've been talking about, and some of you guys have already done it. I'm just kind of ADHD, and sometimes I just don't take my own fucking place. So mRNA is already down. I know a lot of you guys already agreed on that one, but I'm looking to potentially take a straddle on this one. Their earnings are obviously on the 3rd. So we will watch those as they come in. As far as earnings period, I also want to keep my eyes peeled on Lucid. Although, given the market conditions, we'll see what happens, but I still think that they're a little bit overvalued. And then moving back, I'm also I'm probably going to keep my eyes on Starbucks. It's usually a fun straddle as well. So sponsored by Liquid Death. Tag them. If you guys are chilling with me right now on TikTok, if you guys don't mind tapping your screen, don't do it like that though. You will break it. Activision. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Space Beyond Square. Another one coming in on Thursday. SQ has been pummeled. And I think that if they report anything halfway decent, we could see a squeeze on their end. Baba has also earnings, but I'm gonna get link you guys to a video, or I'll go ahead and tweet the video out. But this is by one of the YouTubers that I follow. He's super dope. But he gives a really good breakdown on what's going on with Baba and pretty much all Chinese stocks. Basically saying that they are in the shitter. I would love. So those of you who swung Baba with me, I would absolutely love it if we saw Baba gap down. If Baba gaps down by the way. Get out. Get out. I'm telling you. But anyway, DK&G, Candy Growth, and Goodyear Tire coming in on Friday. So that's about it. Economic calendar, earnings. Now let's turn our eyes over to the watch list. If you guys are not on YouTube right now, you guys should definitely come and check out the screen and drop your request because we are going to be breaking down ye old Meta really quickly as well as Baba. So if you guys want to trade this with me, if you guys are going to trade with me, understand what is going on. If I say something and it doesn't make sense, ask me a question. That's how this works. So right now, looking at Meta, we're gonna go down to well, let's go ahead and start on the daily and give you guys an idea of what exactly we got going on. So first of all, Meta is well respected right there at the 155.82 level. We did have 2 week so usually, all right, upon observation, it takes, once you hit support, 1, 2, and sometimes not even that. But most of the time, you get a 1-2 punch. You hit it, and then you open up a new daily, and you bounce. We did not get much volume. We did get a little bit of volume. This is after earnings. There's a gap to fill on the upside. So there are multiple different opportunities on Meta. And so there is absolutely no use going into this week biased. The one thing that I do see here on the hourly time frame is what could end up being a falling wedge, but we will have to see how Meta opens up this week. Of course, patterns are patterns. Who cares? At the end of the day, I'll be looking around 150 and 151 for a bounce on Meta to the downside. If it gaps down once again, ultimately I do have a target of 143.85, and that would represent our support all the way down here. Now, one of the things that I like to do, how am I going to play this? All right, so I've been explaining this over and over and over again, and I'm going to continue to explain it over and over and over again until you guys, well, until everybody kind of gets the gist of what I look for or why I set targets or why I select contracts the way that I do. Most of the time, I separate things into what you could consider like a tug of war zone. All right. This is the median. This is where sellers are sitting. This is where buyers are sitting. And this zone represents where it's going to go short or long. So I have a gap above me. I've got S1. Sure, we've got a downtrend from here. We'll see how valid that really is. But at the end of the day, I see that every time that Meta moves up towards this resistance, it either consolidates and breaks or it falls through. And that's represented right here. You can see bounces off of the top of it, including right here as well. So I will be watching for Meta to move down below 157.50, 157.50 for a potential short if we open up in range. And then to the upside, there's a little bit of a gap to fill at 160.85. Baba to the or Meta to the upside is off limits until it moves well above 161.50, and even then, it's a bit of a sketch ball given the setup in general. You do have to remember that we broke all the way out on Meta and moved all the way to 182, and then gapped down and fell right back down to 155. So it was basically a failed break and and really you just tapped an established downtrend. So this is a definitely a downside possibility given market conditions. Anywhere below the 154.60 level, I will hourly candle close. I will likely take and let me give you guys also like just a little tidbit of information here. I don't want to enter at support, okay? Because most people see a red candle and they get kind of antsy about trying to enter a position. My recommendation, well, what I do is as it moves below the median, okay? The median being basically, you can consider that the point of control in this area, okay? This median is basically going to represent 157.64, or is going to basically represent where sellers will likely take over. I would rather enter a starter position at 157.75 or 157.50 as it moves down towards support at that 155 mark, because at that point, then I have cushion in order to kind of establish what I want to do with the trade, whether I want to add or whether it's going to be a risk and it's going to end up falling to the downside. I'm going to restart TikTok. All right, hold on one second, guys. TikTok hates me sometimes. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay. Anyway, wow, that was a good info, great explanation and reasoning. Awesome. Well, I'm not done yet. So anyway, let's continue to kind of break this down a little bit further. If sellers are more than likely going to step up, and given that this is also a psychological level, if you move up at the bell and you see a hourly candle close engulfing or moving, pushing this down towards the middle, I'm just going to keep it in layman's terms, towards the middle of this area, right? Establish support across the board, right? I want to move in here. I want to go ahead and as it closes below, let me repeat that. As it closes below, do you see this wick right here? Do you know how many people probably got burnt right there? A lot. Look at this wick right here. Do you notice how, I mean, it's there to burn you, and it does exactly that. So you have to let it, and you gotta, it's important to know where things can bounce below what seems to be a consistent level. So we would need to see a established candle close below 150, 154.27, and then at that point below 150, and that's going to be the tough part, is if you're in anything shorter expiration, it's not going to be fun if you try to hold through 150. So if you have longer expiration, enter those, or I'm going to enter those in the box as we leave. Weeklies are going to go ahead and move in from there. So I'll take this week's contracts, likely right outside of the money or a step outside of that, and then I will take profit at that 150 target, and then let those, if we do end up breaking to the downside, here's my stop loss. Listen, the same area where sellers basically beat buyers is the same area that if we cross back above, I would go ahead and sell. Not because it just hit my stop, but because I know that buyers are likely to take back over, and any shorts that are established in this range are liable to be squeezed out, right? And that's essentially why you see like a lot of these movements. When you get a strong move to the downside, a lot of the times your biggest moves come after your biggest dumps. And a lot of times those are squeezes. So anyway, so the next he does, and he's great. Do you teach how to trade? Yeah, I'm trying to do that right now. All right, so hopefully that makes sense to you. Let's go ahead and apply the same logic here to our friend Baba. Now, this one, I don't want to put too much talk into this. Reason being is that I think it gaps. I don't know where. I wish I did, but I think it's going to gap down, to be honest with you, with all of the things that are going on right now. Nancy Pelosi flew to the Philippines. She doesn't give a shit. We've got basically China like doing live fire exercises. People are greasing their guns, and so shit's kind of scary. I hate to be like having to like even just be one of the guys that has to like talk about the shit, but and then also be looking at a way to make money. But the company that we're already shorting, and I am short on Chinese companies for this very reason, and for the very reason that we're going to, and I'm going to link this video. If you guys do not follow me on Twitter, make sure to follow me, because I'm going to basically give you guys the where I got or where I get and where I developed the majority of my thesis on why I believe that most Chinese stocks are a scam. And it's nothing against, it's just the stock model. It's just how things are set up. It is not right. I actually would like to reach out to this individual and see if I could do an interview with him. But anyway, so Baba. All right, so let's move down to the hourly. So same thing, guys. I, real quick. So we're gonna learn a little bit here before we move forward. If you guys want, check the link in the bio. I am currently live on YouTube right now. I don't know what is going on with my green screen, but this shit's wild. But you guys are more than welcome to hop on there, ask questions, as well as compare your analysis. I'm gonna learn, y'all. Put it on a cracker, dude. I'm I'm gonna learn. I love it. Okay, so I did get a couple questions. Why the hell did you go short on Baba? Yes, there was a break in this trend line. That's awesome. There was also another thing, another reasoning behind my entire sentiment. And this is about as accurate as it gets, right? If you go to any market and you try and you're observing the market and you see people mostly like not buying something, you're gonna obviously know it's not worth much or it's going to lose value, and people elsewhere are liable to sell whatever it is that they have. So just putting that in more metaphorical terms, take a look at the red candles here. All right, I'm going to highlight these for you all, and I want you guys to pay attention. Here's the red candles. Okay, now pay attention to the green candles, right? And this is super simple. Now, what does this represent, right? We have our resistance where sellers usually like to push back, right? And then we have the median. So when you hit a support, our job is to analyze how it moves, okay? It's y'all, you all, yeah, whatever, yeah, y'all. I'm in Georgia. But anyway, 103. So we see that 103 is where this stock bounces. When this stock establishes a candle, bearish candle close below that median, established, listen, established, that's not a bearish candle close. That's not a bearish candle close. That's a bearish candle close. That's a bearish candle close. So those are one of the reasonings where I see that sellers, although we gapped up a couple of times and that was kind of shitty, at the end of the day, a lot of the times it's really easy to take a little bit of money and drive a stock up in pre-market just to get a good ass short on it. Okay, so it's not outside of the question for this just to be a area of selling, an area of people taking those short positions and pushing this to the downside. So this zone 1, 2, 3. Now we did get a candle close back up inside of it, but one of the things that you kind of pause. One of the things that you want to kind of take a look at is where exactly like the candles close in general. And again, you can see that bounce, 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 and then candle closes here. This is $100. It is a psychological number. So there at $100, we see there's a very weak candle close there at the end of the day after a really, really, really strong short. It makes a whole lot of sense that we would actually see a gap down because most of these people are just shorts covering towards the end of the day. So RGNX will be $100 within 12 months. Nice. Okay, so anyway, enough reflecting. Let's do some projecting. Okay, so right, is our next zone. Get in the zone. So median, okay. So what I'm looking for on Baba going into this next week, and we did hit the 89, but what I really would want to see is below 88.50. Now, 88.50 has been my target for a long ass time. Omar, I just spent a long time on Meta, man, at the beginning of the video. Go ahead and rewind that back and check that out. So Baba has a gap, okay? And what I teach you guys is that 50% of the gap, given that this gap is relatively large, is usually going to be my target. If you guys are here on TikTok, make sure to tap your screen. If you guys aren't, or if you guys would like, you guys can hop on the YouTube channel and check me out there. So anyway, 85.50 is the median or the middle of this gap. All right. So why am I even bothering telling you guys about the gap? Now, this is super duper cool. If you guys are one of my mentors or one of the students, or if you guys have had me explain this to you ever, you guys know exactly what I'm about to say when you look at this meta chart and when you observe where the gaps are. We've got the top, we've got the bottom, we've got our quarterly marks, and we've got the median. Okay, so I've got solid levels here on BABA. I've got a level here down below 88.50. I see BABA down to 87.10. That's liable to give us a bounce and a retest. At that point, we want to hold the ceiling of 88.60. We do not want to enter back above it no matter what. Obviously, nothing moves in a straight line. BABA does have relatively bad news. And so we could see a move down to 85.23. So I will be watching BABA continuously short to move down into this demand zone and fall into the $80 range. And that'll be it. All right. Okay, so that's about it. If you guys would like, I'm going to go ahead and take your request. First one here, and let me before we get into this, if you guys are trading with me, all right, and again, if you didn't just follow what I just said, if you don't understand what it is that I just broke down to you, that's fine. That'll come in time. That'll come with just observation, watching. But what you want to do, or what you would be looking to do, is if you are following somebody and you do not have an idea of what exactly is going on the chart, or why it is that they're taking or exiting or cutting a position, you have to try not to rely on your own logic when you don't have the information to fluidly move logically. So you're going to feel very, very emotional and panicky. So anyway, Meta and Baba, you guys know the deal. AMD. So this is a classic, kind of ugly, but classic head and shoulders pattern on the hourly time frame. I just got to point that out while I see it. So you got a little shoulder action here. Weak shoulder there, but you broke out anyway. Head right there. Let's move down. And let's go see where AMD is at on the chart. So downtrend, starting from our highs, because we are on the higher time frame, we can see that AMD closed at its resistance right about there. So what I like to do in these situations is figure out, now that we have the structure, right? Because when you're charting, a lot of the times, regardless if you're day trading, scalping, or any of these things, you want to understand the structure, or basically the framing in which you're building a trade or building your plan for that trade. So now that we got an idea that we're up against resistance, we want to move down here to the 4-hour, make sure that the trend lines that we set are clean. It looks pretty good to me. Support looks solid right there. And then I like to move down to the hourly. So this is where I like to see developing price action, or what was developing price action, and see if I can't see anything here. So see a little bit of a trend. Now we want to go ahead and do the same thing that we've been talking about as far as establishing zones. And a really easy way to do this, we can just kind of look below, right? So we've got a little zone right here. And that's basically going to represent the floor beneath us that we would, if we are bullish, we want to hold. So you guys got it right here. So check it out. Basically, and this is one of the biggest things when I trade. How do you determine where the median is at? So once I establish the range that it's trading in, or the range of that price, then I go ahead and I just divide that mathematically in half. So all right, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off again. This is not cool. All right. All right. So anyway, sorry, I just had to adjust my camera there. What? Anyway, so what we got going on here as far as AMD is concerned, now that we have the floor below us, we want to kind of establish where the ceiling is above us. It looks like right there. Perfect. Okay. So let's So it looks like we made it up right below that median. Okay. That's 95.11. That is the gap. Okay. So you filled your gap on the hourly time frame. I would venture to guess that if you did, and a lot of the times this is where again you can zoom down or move down to the lower time frame. Let me see something. My bad, guys, on people on YouTube. I just ordered a new phone stand, so hopefully I don't have to deal with this shit anymore. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it like that and do what I do. Okay, so anyway, essentially it's just gonna need to move above $95. I see a bit of a confluence here with 96.75. So green level above us is 96.75. I would watch that as your break point. Right now, it does look like you're weakening, so it looks like you're losing a little bit of momentum. This is typically what you see when a stock is kind of struggling. So I would wait and watch for this lower time frame 5 minute channel and a definitive move below $92 and 91.90. That would likely give you excuse me, an AMD around 88.55. So let's see here. So we got AMD that looks all right. Let's look at Walmart. Start on the daily. So that is clearly pretty big ceiling above us here. Walmart looks super funky. So here's kind of the easy way to look at this. Again, I imagine that wherever Walmart bounced at previously, or bounced at the latest was likely touched in pre-market. So that's 118.50, but that is the support level below you. You did gap down and immediately fill that gap. One thing that I would look for, especially given the fact that Walmart had what appeared to be a bit of a daily bear flag, is a squeeze back up to the upside and a move to what I would consider to be the median of this zone, which is really established on the weekly. So you guys can kind of see it there. Floors right there. You do have a bit. Let's see. So right about there. And then you guys can see that the pivot point is around that same mark that I just gave you, which is 141 on the weekly. So look at this weekly candle close. If you're going to see a reversal, this is a ton of buying pressure. You still ended red, but really anywhere above this 133 and 134, I would anticipate possibly seeing. Yeah, I mean, this really looks like a triple bottom type energy. So I would look for a gap fill and a move up into the 141 area. So looks good though. Obviously, with inflation, with the way that it is, and if they end up passing that off to the customer, we'll see how that translates on the earnings report. So far, the sentiment is bearish, but it seems like buyers are pretty eager to buy the stock back up. I'm not a big fan of Walmart, and nor have I ever made any money on it. So just keep that in mind. All right, wait, that is MU. All right, well, I got MU for you, and this shit looks pretty spicy. I'm not gonna lie. So watch MU to possibly move up to 64 50. What monitors do I use? I don't even know. No, I'm just kidding. I use LG something something. So, if you guys are on TikTok right now, the link in the bio, I have um my YouTube up with the camera and everything, so you guys can go there. It's low latency. It's way better to watch there. And if you guys have any questions, you could drop them there. So, anyway, daily looks like a bearish pennant. Daily also shows, like AMD, that we are up against what appears to be a downtrend. So go down to the 4 hour, make sure that that's nice and clean. It's also taking a look at the, and I think that's correct. Yeah, so taking a look at the level above us right now, it's 64.40. That seems to be where we got stopped out a good bit yesterday. Below us, or what would represent a major reversal area, okay, is right here. So this is really, if you're looking for any type of like share stop loss or even long-term options, that would be an area of concern, and that would be basically below or underneath, and I should fix that, I guess, a little bit. It would be below, yes, basically $60. So 59.70 would be where I would look for MU to fall to the downside if you did end up pulling back. And then to the upside, you do have obviously another resistance around 63.83. This is your daily downtrend. We've tracked it from the daily down to the 4 hour to the hourly. So this is 64.24. There is a gap. So if MU does end up squeezing out, you can target that gap. But not only can you target that gap, you can also target this insanely visible and strong, if you will, support turned resistance above us, and that would be $65 and $66 above you, a little bit above R2. So good to see you too, man. Dish to the moon. If you guys have requests or anything like that, hop on YouTube. That's where I am taking requests currently at the moment. All right, so MU is looking pretty good. Again, you got your short, you got your long. So these are levels above you and below you that you could basically be watching for a move to the upside. Of course, anything like this where I have like a dynamic trend line coming from the top or from another top like this, it's always worth being careful. But I do believe that this is a solid setup. And I would just watch that as it is right now, above 62.50 for a push up to around $64, and then watch for a little bit of consolidation or maybe even a fake out. Remember, candles close, so it would have to be above 65 and have to be above 66 in order to really be worth taking long, in my opinion. And if I was going to take it long, listen, if it does break up above and hold $66, I'd be looking immediately for this gap fill at $75. Yes, I am live on YouTube right now. Link is in the bio. If you are on at Simple Stacks Investments, I'm taking requests there. Trying to answer questions and read the TikTok comments, but it's a bit tough. So All right, so the next one that I see is mRNA, and we'll do Tesla right after that. A lot of people have requested this, so all right. I was a little bit worried that this might happen, but what did we talk about with mRNA? We talked about this zone in particular, and that is the 152. It bounced right off of it. I have not touched this chart at all. Okay. Now, what it does look like right now is a bear flag. And if you move out into the daily, it does have obviously the double bottom, but it looks a bit like a cup of handle. So we might see mRNA before earnings, which earnings are on the 3rd of August. So a little bit later this week. It looks like it's setting up with a bull flag. It's got resistance at 176.50. I see mRNA, and I'm only going to give you guys the long targets below and underneath. I think that if mRNA does really badly, that it's worth maybe looking at a leap. The leaps that I was looking at were $80. Who knows what they cost now? But I see mRNA down to $90. $90. I do not think that this company makes a recovery. And if it does, it has to be above 190. Period. Period. 65 of you guys on TikTok. If you guys want to ask any questions, leave a chart request, hit the link in the bio, hop on YouTube. You do have to subscribe to comment, but that's it. It's free. And I'm happy to answer your questions. Also, you can see me in a dark room. It's kind of dark. A little mysterious in here. Not really. All right, so the next one that we got is Tesla. Blech. Good heavens. All right, so most important thing I think here for Tesla is establishing historical levels and seeing where buyers and sellers obviously reside at the level that we currently are at. We do have a gap up right here, and it appears to be that Tesla breaking into this $900 level, $900 level, so 901.34. That you guys can see right here. Let me again the median. See a lot of respect for that median already. That median is going to basically be right around 925. 925. So if you get a candle close, and we can go to the hourly now and kind of see how price is developing down there before we move any forward or move any further forward. But so price right now, you kind of have that rounded bottom look to you. Move across right there. All right. And anytime I see a wide mouth like this, I always call these like mouths whenever you bump up, reverse, and then break back out. So a lot of the times I do look for a potential support or resistance. It does appear that Tesla does have this. So if Tesla does fall, okay, so check this out. We got an hourly channel here to the upside. All right. Everybody has this marked on their charts. 1, 2, 3. All right. 1, 2, we're looking for third. So if there is a rejection here on Tesla and you see a gap down, or if you see a small gap up, there's a possibility to open up back around our current open rate, our current close, and then pull back. So how do we know if that's going to happen? Let's go down to the 15-minute, right? So we can see what that looks like. So again, starting from our low, running it up to our high, it appears that this is our channel support. So this pocket that you see right here, that's basically going to be where you want to see Tesla move out. So below 877.50 and definitively below this area here, okay? Below this area here, that's going to be 867 and 857, $10 range right here. I would definitively say that you could, I would say there's a definitive target, excuse me, at 818 and 815 to the downside at the bottom of this channel. So it looks pretty good to me. Tesla might end up being on the watch list tomorrow, especially with the way it's looking at me right now. I love channels like this. Channels do mean that you're trending. It doesn't matter really what level. that is. So I'm gonna write down Tesla just for fun, but 80 people here on TikTok. If you guys want to hit the link in the bio and join me on YouTube, right over there, I can see your comments, and they don't disappear after 3. So if you guys any of them, whatever you guys are requesting, let me know. I just did AMD on YouTube. I did a full breakdown on that one where I would like to see it go long, short. Oh my God, it's the thing, the sexy thing. Hide user on this channel. How do they? All right. Good evening, pot smoker. Can trap for days, very small margin for holes. Can you do Baba? I did Baba. Love it. Is Tesla going? So is Tesla going down? Here's my short-term analysis here. Yes, you're going to pull back. What do you do from there? I have no idea. But I do believe here's what I don't know. I don't know what exactly a stock is going to do. That happens live. What I do know is that the stock market is like an auction. And at certain levels, you have a bidding war between buyers and sellers, and they go back and forth, right? The best example of this that I can show you on a higher time frame is on NVDa, okay? Because it's probably the most textbook zone that I've ever seen in my life, right? So take a look on NVIDIA here. This is going back. So I don't know exactly what a stock is going to do again, but I do know at certain points, sellers are sitting at a certain level and buyers are sitting at another. All right. And what happens in between allows me to get an idea of what comes next, right? Same thing that we've talked about. 1, 2, 3, all 3 times sellers step up. And not only do they step up, they step up. And they really, really are trying to get a good position to drive this stock lower. We can see that by even acknowledging this wick. So, that being said, okay, I know that, again, I can't predict what happens every day, every second, or what trend breaks and if it's going to not fake out or extend itself or if it's a wet. I can't see that yet, right? A lot of that develops during in real-time trading. But what I do know is that just like any market or anything like that, if the cost of something starts to plummet and hits a certain level, right, where buyers usually didn't let it go, people are naturally inclined to sell. And sellers take advantage of that and drive the price down. And that's what we can see here. So hopefully this makes sense. There's a good handful of you guys on here right now. So pay attention and watch. Maybe do this on your chart and start to see how the stock behaves. A lot of the times I find support, I find resistance, and I throw 4 quarterly marks and a median mark in there in order to establish certain levels. And it's pretty mathematical and it's pretty easy to follow and it's pretty easy to, again, look for a candle close out of it and know that it's likely to go to its next psychological number. So it was a 9-to-1 put call ratio. Yeah, absolutely. You can't, as soon as everybody's bearish, that's when people stop making money, right? You have to switch it up. So yeah, I think we get a third leg too. So again on YouTube right now, guys, but this is and let me say before I go or before I finish this up, this box that you see, this zone that we see where we see 1, 2, 3, we see massive red candles here, big short positions right there, right? these are scalable from the higher to lower time frames, right? You can see a zone on the weekly, you can see a zone on the 5. So if you use the same idea, like not ideology, you have the same idea and apply it in your own way, you'll start to see how price respects these particular levels and will show you where the stock is going to go. But not only that, we know the difference because I'm not a range trader. What is this? This is a range. I can take a rejection here and there. I can see that the stock has the energy to potentially fall down. But at the end of the day, when I'm looking for a continuation in trend, I'd like to be up here and I'd like to be adding. Obviously, this is not something that's worth, getting shaken out of if you're in a real short or if you are in options. But at the end of the day, I want to see a continuation of this trend. And that's when I come in and start to take that trade and look for the next feasible support. So, Alan, I have already done Meta. If you want to rewind to the beginning of the video. NVIDIA bullish or bearish? NVIDIA, like AMD, is nearing resistance. I have NVIDIA at 187, maybe 185 as a resistance. So, all right. Ooh, shit. Yo, Hood looks so bad. It's so bad that it's just funny, but well, I'll tell you what, this is a great example of, again, zones. Um, so it looks like, oh yeah. Well, here's the deal. At least when or from what I can tell on Hood, because that's money, dude. Um, so what it looks like to me is that basically above $9.15, the first logical target that you would have is 953, 954, right? But at the same time, right, if you were to lose, and again, guys, I love math. I don't really, but I do love this math. So right there at the 50% mark, that is 858, 850, below 850 and 858, watch it down to $8. And this stock moves basically in psychological numbers. So let's do Ford. Holy shit. Damn, bruh. I gotta start setting more alerts. Do you guys see that? I set an alert. Look at the alert. Oh my god. That's okay. I think I remember saying last month, I said Ford will probably end up being a good small account play. And it did. That's okay. I'm sure somebody caught it. Damn, I haven't charted Ford in a minute. So all of this, look at that. Look, it broke the trend line. It broke to the upside. We currently are testing a major resistance. I didn't move this line, by the way. It just is sitting there somehow. Technical analysis, you know. More room for Tesla to move. We're up against resistance. So right, it's our job to basically look for what it takes to break and look for what it takes to fall. Okay, so let's establish where exactly Ford is now. Me, 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 me. I'm gonna go to the 4 hour here. Okay, so it looks like I mean, you did just slam into this little supply that's 1465. Next level above you is $15 even, obviously. Above 15, I see 1532 and 1570. Those are the three levels above you that you're going to want to pay attention to on your way to the upside. This one does look like it's definitively broken its downtrend. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw um, some decent movement. I want to go to the weekly here and kind of take a look at that. So it looks like, oh shit. All right, so before we go any further, I want you guys to pay attention to what could be happening here. Now, uh, now that we're kind of on the outside, you guys can see that there is the possibility that if we do not see Ford establish a move. Now let's think about this. Where does Ford get? Let me look this up. Sorry, I'm doing a little bit of. Okay, so I'm curious to see if China tensions affect Ford. That's kind of what I'm going on, like thinking about right now. Um, Maybe we see Ford with a head and shoulders and a major reversal, because this is typically indicative of exactly that. So watch $16 to the upside. That would just be a good target regardless. But I am curious to see what that does for Ford. So, oh my goodness. Okay, I'm about to shut it down, guys. I'm getting tired. Yeah, I bet out of range, take those feelings out, and have conviction. All right, we'll go ahead and shut it down after Apple. Yeah, probably wrong. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not like so much of a fundamental analyst. I mean, I understand markets well, but and how they interact with one another, but it is something that I would have to actually go and look at. I'm not a big Ford fan anyway, as far as like buying the stock. Or I think I got free stock from them and I sold, or from like Webull way back in the day, and I sold it. So Apple's kind of in a world of its own. So take a look at the 4 hour, guys. 4 hour, bit of a doji, showing some weakness. Okay, kind of looking a bit like this, right? So watch for a little gap down. This probably means that we're either A, about to go fill this gap in some capacity. It may not be immediately, but I would pay attention and watch for that potential gap fill to the downside. You want to go to the hourly, obviously, and establish a trend. Let's find out where Apple wants to fall, if it does. Boom, boom. So now that we got that figured out, that's pretty cool, huh? Got a little channel here on Appiel. So there we go. We got a little zone. We got a little 50% mark right there. What does that whip off of? The 50% mark. So Apple to the downside, obviously we have this gap fill here. I can't tell you the movement because I don't know, but the lowest volume is going to occur here between 154.50 and 158. Excuse me, 157.50. This area lost would then give you this area, the last area in which you would probably need to fall, but definitively level wise, 155.75 to the downside. You should see Apple break trend and move down to the 152.32 or your pivot here, possibly even settling around 151. That's not going to happen in one day, but could happen over the next couple of days. I would either look for Apple to continue to go and maybe tap up. I can't tell you that it's going to immediately reject, but if you do see any type of engulfment and strength to the downside with the market conditions as they are, there's a good possibility to, at a minimum, fill this gap. And it could be, a bit like this. Remember, it's not going to just fall, right? It could look exactly like that. Okay? So we have to obviously, okay, and it's kind of funny how this actually lines up somehow, but 161, okay, that's this candle close level here. That's 161. We would want to see candle closes actually literally what you see right here that I just copied and pasted, a bit like that. So candles closing below, and then this is where patience pays, because you guys to obviously be able to know which levels that you need to stay below in order to stay bullish, and what levels would need to be established back above in order to move to the upside. So, all right. Well, that's about it. So hopefully this makes sense. Is Baba stock done? Yes. If you go watch the YouTube that I'm literally posting right now. Real quick though, before we end this, so inflation is at simple stacks. No, just kidding. So tomorrow our prices rate going to rise or be risen. Um, Obviously, with that being said, for those of you guys on YouTube, those of you guys on TikTok, I'll be live 1 week off, 1 week on, pretty much for good. And that's so that I'm going to be able to spend more time in the Discord. If we're going to raise prices, I'm raising standards. We're going to implement some new technology that I've been sitting on for a second, as well as do a lot more interactive and hopefully with other admins classes, and stuff like that. So if we raise the price, we're gonna raise the standards. But Skippy, I'd be happy to do that for you in the morning, man. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down now. But if you're new, don't feel any reason to join at any point. Just because this is for people who are obviously looking into the chat or already ready to trade. But if you want to lock in the $60 a month, that is done through the yearly. So anyway, that's enough of that. You guys have a good evening. I will catch you guys tomorrow morning bright and early, and we'll go from there. So peace.